Oh, fuck.
Little.
So good day to you all. As you can see, I am not on the Street Bob today. I am on a Road King, and there's a few reasons for this. As you might know, the bike of mine, my Street Bob, is in for a service and for stage 1 and some risers and handlebars. Unfortunately, the risers, well, first of all, actually, the handlebars that they bought didn't fit the throttle because it's a fly-by throttle, not a wired cabled throttle. They got the wrong one, so they had to reorder those. And then they figured out that the risers don't fit either. So they said, well, we don't really know what to do because the risers don't fit. There's no one that actually does them. So I had to tell Harley Davidson where to get the risers, which is bunking. And yeah, I'm a bit pissed off, if I'm honest, because it was meant to take a week and it's now been 2 weeks and I've had an Amazon bike, and I said to them, right, I want a bike, I'm not messing around. And this is what they've given me, a Road King. And I must say, I've literally just come out of Harley Davidson now. Okay, so let's do a little first impressions review on this bad boy. To start with, I'm just going to compare it to my Street Bob, I think. So the clutch is so much heavier than my Street Bob. I've stalled it about 3 times now, and yeah, it is like I'm having to really use those finger muscles to pull the clutch in, whereas on mine you can almost use one finger, you know. The actual ride position is quite comfy, actually. It's not as high on the ape hangers as mine, but I'm sat more upright. I imagine on long distances it would actually be a lot more comfortable than mine as well. The footboards, well, I'm not used to them, but I can imagine, you know, on long journeys again, that would be actually a benefit. It's very, very comfortable to ride. It's very smooth to ride as well. The rear brake is there, but not that good. I think the front brake is much better than my Street Bob for some reason. I'm not sure if it's got 2 discs or 1. Pretty sure actually it's got 2 discs, and that's probably why. Obviously you've got a heavier bike though, so you kind of need it. The gear change is very, very smooth, and the whole ride actually, I mean, I haven't got the suspension set up to my weight, God knows what it's on, but it's very, very comfortable. The seat is super comfortable, much more comfortable than the Street Bob. Yeah, generally it is just a more comfortable bike. My only criticism is the handlebars are very, very wide, and with my short arms I'm sort of stretched out a little bit, but it's not that bad. It sounds really nice actually. It's purring beautifully. I would say manoeuvring this thing, I did a U-turn a minute ago, and it is difficult. It would be something you'd have to get used to for sure. I don't know what the lean angle's like, but it feels pretty good on here. But what I like about this bike is actually you can, even though it's a big bike, I'm finding it very easy to manoeuvre. Not as much as the Street Bob, no way. But I think because you're more upright, you can kind of swing this around a bit more. They've done pretty well on here. You'll have to excuse my my attire. I've literally just come from work to pick this bike up, so I'm kind of running the risk of falling off and really injuring myself with my trainers on and my work trousers. But I'm only going to do a little quick short ride, just to see what this is like. Yeah, the controls are basically the same. They I would say actually on the Street Bob they're a bit more compact and a bit easier to find. The visibility on the mirrors is pretty good, I'd say, just as, not quite as good, but just nearly as good as the Street Bob. There's not as much torque. There's definitely not as much torque. I can feel it just pulling away gently, you know. But what I'll do is I'll get it out on the open road in a minute, and we'll put it through its paces, and we'll see exactly what it's all about. So yeah, doing 50 now, and the bike is much more stable in the wind. It doesn't look it, but it's actually quite blustery today, and it is much more stable than the Street Bob, which is understandable. It's an instant thing that you notice. I come in third gear at 50, I pull away, and there's plenty of power there. There is tons of power. It's not as torquey as the Street Bob. I'm still sat on the seat, I'm not being flung off the back. But yeah, there's definitely some good, and it's a real smooth transition through the revs. It's not just all in your face in one go. It's very smooth. Which is different to the Street Bob, definitely. I'm really liking this bike. I didn't think I would because of the weight and everything else, but I can see why people buy these bikes. They are really, really nice. It's got the power where you need it, and it's a definite cruiser bike. I feel like I'm sat down and I'm cruising. You know, there's no riding the road. It's solid. It's a real solid bike. Right, I'm just going to overtake these guys. Oh yeah, there's tons of power, and it's really smooth at high speeds. I think that's to do with the suspension as much as anything. But yeah, it's got it. It's got it all there, and the brakes are good. Yeah, wow. I think these bikes retail around 17 to 20 grand. I'll have to check it when I get home. But you can see where you're getting your money's worth here. It's a definite Harley Davidson cruiser bike. Counter steer is good. It's there. It's responsive. It's very, very nice, this bike, actually. Very nice. It's a different ride though to the Street Bob. Definitely a different ride. Street Bob is more of a riding bike. You know, you're riding the road. You're feeling the bike. You're hugging the bike. This thing, you sort of point and shoot. It just hits every target. You know, you just take it around the bend and it just does it. You know, it's a relaxing ride. And at 50 mile an hour, even with the wind fairing on my bike, you are gripping it. For some reason on this bike, it just plows through, and it's so much more comfortable to ride. Okay, right, I'll try. We'll get her down into a lower gear, and we'll try and overtake these guys, and we'll see how we're doing. Indicator on, check the mirrors. Hit the limiter. Oh yeah, 80, nearly 90. Yeah, it's much smoother bike. Much smoother bike. Yes, I like this a lot. Gotta say, well done, Harley. When you start getting up into those big boy bikes and the higher prices and everything, my indicator's still on. Nope. You can really feel the difference. I could quite happily buy one of these to go cruising on. Not so much around town, but it, it's not so heavy and crazy that you're gonna regret going into town. But for cruising, I mean, I'm not going to take this on the motorway, but I imagine on the motorway it's going to be real comfortable and a pleasure to ride. So take it round the roundabout now. It's a tight roundabout, and we'll see how we go with this one. So I'll take it nice and slow. Yeah, see, it's not as good at cornering as the Street Bob, but still, it's got a decent lean angle. But it has got the pull, which I like. But it definitely has nowhere near as much torque. Understandably, it's a 107 and it's on a real freaking heavy bike, I'm not sure if it's a Milwaukee 8. Again, I will test this one out when I get home. But it's all there. It is all there. And it flies through the gears. Just plough through any corner. Yeah, it's a really lovely bike. Wow. And through the bumps, it's much softer. I mean, even on these little grooves here, I'd be going, but on this thing, it's a really smooth ride, and it is a pleasure to ride. Right, guys, I think we're going to leave it there. Hopefully, next time you see me, I'll be on the new bike, or on the bike with all the new bits on it. I hope this has been interesting. I'm just trying to fill a bit of space while the bike's being fixed. You never know, I might even do another ride on this thing before it's back. Who knows? Depends how quickly Harley Davidson get their bums in gear. So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. And as always, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.